Welcome, everyone, to the Man Event. Today is Sunday, June 7th, 2020. Listen, checking in for their part-time jobs. We got Pooh Bear, Matty Ho,
woohoo,
the Chief.
I'm here.
And I'm B-Love, and we are stoked that you stopped by to spend some time with us on this Sunday evening. Hey, listen, the idea of the Main Event, we're just a couple average guys sitting around chatting about sports and life. So don't be afraid to interact and chat with us, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. So listen, we have an awesome show lined up for this week. We are going to talk a little sports, getting back to work. Is Major League Soccer going to be the first one out of the gate? What is going on with Major League Baseball? We're going to talk a little Lance Armstrong and continue our conversation about PEDs. We might even get into a little bit of politics and talk about the presidential election come up. Hey, and whatever else may come up in the time that we're spending together. But before we get into all of that, we have a special guest joining us today from our production of the next Man Event short boot camp workout day. So, Chief, would you like to do the honors and bring in our guest?
I would like to bring in our guest, Pat the paramedic. Is he in the room?
He is in the waiting room. Stand by.
Let's bring Pat in.
Boom! Welcome, Pat.
There he is, Pat the paramedic.
Hey, Pat.
Friend of the Man Event. Today we did the shoot for the new boot camp short, and Platt. Sorry, brother. Pat plays the part of the medic. So before we get started, let's just cover a little groundwork here. Pat, you are in fact a paramedic, aren't you?
Yes, I not only do I play one on screen, but I am an actual paramedic.
Have you ever made someone ride the lightning?
Ride the lightning? Yes, many times.
Okay, so that's
today,
not just
for
the
example.
thing. No.
I was a little worried today. It was close.
Well, all right, man. That brings me to my first question. Look, so you were out there, you're observing, the four horsemen working out. Just made up the horseman bit. Anyway, who did you feel was the most likely to become a patient?
Are you kidding me? I was like, man, these guys are tanks.
Oh, you're trying.
He's just being nice now.
We did have a couple go down. Nat, really?
Yes, we had a couple of near misses out there.
Yes.
It was a few close ones. I'm like, they don't make athletes like these anymore. But so it's hard to choose because I saw Chief had the bionic arm there. I'm walking up and I'm making my size up, and I look over and I see Pooh Bear, and I realize how tall Pooh Bear is, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need backup if he goes down.
Listen, all those rest of the firemen are just a phone call away. I've been in an ambulance before. It can happen again.
Did you faint?
I'm like,
I did not faint. I came close. I had some cramps, so that was where the water came in and took care of me. Ashley was telling me to eat a banana. No bananas on site, but we lived.
Pat, if Pooh Bear had gone down, the good news is you are friends with another paramedic that has also seen Pooh Bear on the ground.
Yeah, I had Foy on speed dial because I know he's the only one that could lift him.
He's the only one that could lift him.
Man.
Oh, boy.
So listen, Pat, this is your first opportunity to see what was going on behind the scenes with the boot camp video. What do you think this final product is going to look like?
I think it's going to be great. It's hilarious, man. At first I was watching the whole scene and I'm like, is there really going to be an issue here? It's 90 degrees out. I don't see any water. What could go wrong? But
Yeah.
Well, hey, fair enough, because at least 3 of us have first-degree sunburn.
Oh man, look at this. This is
it's terrible, man. I got this band and everything else.
I got my hat on.
This is
My
tomato.
shoulders are burned up.
Like if I get close up to the camera, you can see the band.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we were having a few problems with the some of the equipment and the weather and the rain and the wind, but we persevered and I got a little grumpy there for a second. I wanted to apologize to you guys after I was getting a little grumpy, and once I realized it settled down, I think we powered through and we got it done.
You just needed a Snickers.
I did need a Snickers.
Yes.
It was like a
set.
full-on Snickers commercial.
You know, we're rolling film. You know, it's really testy out there. You did just fine, man. It was all good.
Yeah.
you guys were lifting up those that tire, man. I'd never seen a tire turned over so many times.
He was flipping it like crazy, huh?
I mean, tonight's a special edition of the squad event is what it was.
The squad.
There you go.
So when is everybody
Lots
going
of
to be able to
squats.
see this, right?
I've already started doing some of the editing. We should, hopefully, maybe by Wednesday, I'll have it uploaded.
Yeah.
All right,
But,
so look for it Wednesday, the drop of the boot camp short.
That's my goal. Let's get it done by Wednesday.
Get it
See
up
what
there and
happens.
people can start laughing again.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. It was a good time doing it, though. I really had fun today. It was not too sunny out, but enough to give us sunburns. All in all, it was a good time. We got rained out yesterday, right? So we were going to originally do it yesterday, but we got rained out. So
Freaking tropical storm.
yes. Although it did help fill up the pond and water the grass around here a little bit. So that was good.
Yeah.
The fish aren't flopping on a dry lake bed.
Man, let me tell you, okay, not to get off topic or anything, but last week they were in there and the birds were just picking them off left and right. It was so dry, and we're just watching the birds go in there, and they're like, every bird goes down, they come up with a fish. Another one goes down,
Nice.
comes up with a fish. I said, this is like whack-a-mole, you know? These fish are having a grand. I mean, these birds are having a grand old time, and I think Dawn took a picture and said it's the apocalypse. It's when all the birds go crazy in the in the Bible.
Feeding day.
And, yeah, it was pretty funny, but I think a few of them lived, and now that we got a little more water back in it, they got a few more days. We'll see what happens. They're gonna make it.
I got some free water in my pool since it's currently leaking like a sieve.
Yeah, no doubt.
Never desired in a pool, right?
Nope.
I do want to show everybody else. I've got my man shirt, my man event shirt on.
Yeah,
too.
Mary, one of my coworkers, she's digging the shirt, she says. She loves so we just got these printed up.
Yep.
Listen, you too could have your very own man event shirt.
You could.
That's right.
Yep.
Someday,
What do you got to do to get one?
Once we got to make them available first.
I guess we got to start selling them first. Yeah.
Listen, I'm pretty sure if you DM'd us, we could figure out a way to get you your very own man.
Oh,
event
yeah.
t-shirt.
Limited edition, maybe even autographed by all the.
This is the first run.
Yes.
I gotta
And
take
they
the
even
names
have-
off so we can see Pat's. There we go.
You got to go way down at the bottom, and you can see that's even got a YouTube symbol, right? And a face.
Oh, that was a nipple. What is that? What is he doing there? I mean,
I'm not
you
sure.
wish.
I was getting ready for the show, and I told my wife I need 2 things. I said, bring me my Green Machine man event shirt and bring me my rocket launch diaper. I had learned last show about the space rocket diaper. And you guys actually, that's when my wife became a fan because it gave a whole new meaning to a floater,
Wow.
Man,
Wow.
Patrick, we only have you for a few minutes tonight. I know you have to get back and you got some studying you have to do, but tell me, you've met Ashley before. What do you think about her as a trainer? Would she intimidate you if you were on the other side of that?
She was legit.
Oh yeah,
I mean, she was legit. This was an event that's going to bring about, a lot of serious workouts, and you could tell that, she was there for the show, but she was there to make sure that she represented the boot camp, fit camp exercise, and she surely did.
You know, I told her instructions. I said, look, just be you. You don't have to play a character or anything else. Just be you. And when she squares up against Pooh Bear in one sequence, we filmed it after you left, she just said no.
She did. She slapped me. Oh my God!
She slapped him after he said, "Don't slap me." She said,
"That's right.
It's a test. I'm going to see what happens."
This is not sunburn. This was from when Ashley slapped me.
She blowed up on you.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, she's great.
And she did it with authority. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She put us through the paces, though, huh?
So when is this short gonna hit the airwaves? Do we know?
Well, we said Wednesday about 3 minutes ago.
Okay. Welcome to the show, beloved.
I wasn't paying attention. My bad. So Wednesday.
Hopefully, like I said, I've already started assembling some of the clips. So I'll work on it later tomorrow, Tuesday, and hopefully have it done by Wednesday.
Well, whether anybody liked it or not, we had fun.
Hey, if you get a chance to make me look a little thinner in some of those shots, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. Will do. I would definitely use the transform node from Motion. Absolutely.
There's only so much you can do with software, though, right? I mean,
I don't know.
We gotta have realistic expectations.
I wore my Spanx out there today.
Oh,
wow.
That's a good call, by the way.
I say on the next show, you guys should bring in a fashion person, you know, to
judge our fashion choices.
Or to help us make those fashion choices, maybe, you know.
Listen, all I know is when you get an opportunity to see the short.
I can't rate it. What is this?
It's a 3.
Oh my gosh. For me too? For mine?
Listen, when you get an opportunity to see the short and you see the wardrobes,
they're nice. They're legit.
Wow. Oh, definitely.
Yes. Wow. That's all I got to say.
Hey, did any wives help pick those out? Because mine did not.
I was saying, clearly,
he wants everyone to know that.
Listen, clearly the chief
wanted everyone to know.
Did not look in the mirror before he left.
I'm just going to use the word bright. Bright. I don't know. It was good. But we did have a true medic on set there today, so that was really good in case if anybody went down.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Next time I'm going to bring a triage tape with me, and because I heard medic like 15 times in about 20 seconds.
Well, if you had stuck around another 20 minutes, you would have heard it a few more times too.
The best injury of the day wasn't even caught on camera.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
We'll have to monitor that injury for the next couple of days, and we'll see what happens.
Yes. Yeah. We're not telling you who though.
No.
Yes.
Most can guess.
I'm surprised.
All right, Patrick, thank you for coming, brother. We'll look forward to seeing you on Wednesday on the short, and maybe we'll see you again with your other name on the show, Terrible Shot Guy, TSG for short.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Hey, fellas.
And we're gonna have to.
There you go, Pat.
One for buy, you know.
Look, he's got one. I bet it's terrible.
We're gonna have to explain that whole nickname about him one of these days. You know.
Oh my goodness! Hennessy and pickle juice and avocado sticks and raspberry.
Well done.
That's a terrible shot. That's a terrible shot.
Bye, Pat.
See you guys.
Appreciate you.
Oh my goodness.
Great nickname too, though.
How
Terrible
about
shot
that?
Terrible shot guy.
Dude, he stood out there for about 3 hours for about 30 seconds worth of video.
Yeah, he's probably on video for a minute. Yeah,
you're right. He's not in very long.
Oh, good sport, man. I'm glad he came out.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. So, Chief, who's going to be the first to the table in sports?
Hey, listen, I'm gonna. I can't believe I'm actually going to say this.
Sports.
But I'm just going to go ahead and just say I'm excited about Major League Soccer, and those words have never even crossed my path before. I'm really interested in soccer, but I'm going to tell you what Major League Soccer is doing. I think they've hit themselves a home run. I don't know what else they scored a goal. That's how I should say. I think Major League Soccer has scored a goal here.
Wow.
Because, follow me, guys. They are going to be the first Major League sport team, to take the field. They're going to take the field right around the 1st of July. I forget the exact date. I should know that. It might be July 1st. Right. And what they have done, I think, is actually going to captivate America, because what they've done is they've started a tournament. They're going to do tournament style. It's only going to last for 6 weeks, so a little like an extended World Cup, but, just Major League Soccer teams, which is going to culminate here I say here in Orlando, but here in Florida, but in Orlando. And everyone loves a good tournament. I mean, I go from fire station to fire station during the Olympics, and everyone knows when the USA is playing. They know when the men are playing. They know when the women are playing. Everybody's up watching. They got the thing tuned in. I think the same thing is going to happen with this. We don't have football. We don't have baseball. We don't have anything else going on. Well, NASCAR, which we've already discussed, is not a sport.
That was on today, by the way, right? From Atlanta.
It's not a sport. I have no idea, man. It could be on Bravo for.
I do think that was debatable though after last time we went over that.
Yeah, I didn't lock in on that one. There were some good points made, but
Okay.
so B-Love, you played soccer. How about you, man? Are you excited to see the Rowdies take the field?
Well, first of all, the Rowdies do not have a major
not
league
MLS.
soccer team. They're in like the lower division.
Do some Google on this stuff, man.
You should probably come a little bit more prepared than that. So listen, I am a soccer fan overall. I'll be honest with you. I haven't spent a lot of time following the MLS because typically I follow the Premier League, or UEFA Champions League. But I did, there are some exciting times to follow the MLS. Over the recent years, they've had some pretty marquee players like David Beckham. They had the Lion recently. Robbie Keane is currently playing. They've had Wayne Rooney. And a lot of these marquee players from all over the country, they kind of come into MLS at the twilight of their career, more so than at the peak of their career. And they bring some excitement into the game. The MLS has an interesting business model. And I think that the business model is really leading to helping them get on the field sooner than some of these other major leagues like baseball and the NHL and Cliff's favorite league, the NBA. But in MLS, they're actually investor operators. So the owners are financially invested in the same business entity, and that business entity is MLS LLC. So each of them has an investment or a share, so to speak, in MLS, and the owners receive a prorated share of the profits of MLS, the entity, as well as some of the profits that they get from having a franchise. So
they don't own a team; they rent a team.
No, they are the owner operator or the investor, I should say. They're the investor operator of that team. But some cool things. I wrote down some notes because I knew I wouldn't be able to remember this stuff. But so being an investor entitles you as an investor to be an operator of a team, and the team gets all of the revenue from local broadcasts. So not like the major ESPN or NBC or CBS. They would get like the local Fox Sports News. They get all of the revenue from that television contract. Any merchandise sold at the stadium, local sponsors. So maybe they have, like Coca-Cola is probably the national sponsor or Budweiser of MLS. But if they have a local sponsor, they get all of the revenue from that. And then they get all of the stadium revenue. The owners, so let me back up. It's important to know that the stadiums are either rented or owned by those investors. No government money goes into that, right? So there's not a stadium anywhere in the league that the city invested in building out that stadium. Whereas like here, we have the 1 cent sales tax that went towards Raymond James stadiums.
Raymond James,
yeah.
Like, but couldn't they play in one of those stadiums if they wanted to?
Certainly they could. They would rent.
Right.
They would rent it. So it behooves these owners though to actually own the stadium because the way that their agreement is set up with MLS, they get such a large portion of the revenues from that. So here's what they do give the MLS, and this is where like that profit sharing model comes in. MLS gets 30% of the ticket sales. Then they get 25% of transfer money. Now, you guys are probably going like, what is transfer money? So in soccer, you don't
I do that on my bank app.
Yeah. You don't see trades of players like you do in a lot of the other sports. Like, hey, we're going to send you player A. You're going to send us player B. It's going to be a full swap. When you want a player, you just go buy them. And so there's a fee for that. And the league gets a portion of that fee. So the MLS, their revenue, they get 100% of the broadcast rights. They get all the league level sponsorships, and they get all of the online merchandise sales, whereas the owners get any merchandise sales that are actually in the stadiums. So here's the crazy thing about expenses. What would you imagine is the greatest expense of any sports franchise?
Payroll,
absolutely.
Payroll. It's probably of any business, right? And so MLS covers the salaries of all players unless that's a designated player. And a designated player is the example I gave you earlier of like the David Beckhams, the Carlos Valderrama when he was in the league a gazillion years ago. It's the marquee or the highlight players. The league pays or the club pays a portion of that salary. But the way that the salary cap works, and because all of the salaries are paid by the league, it prevents like the Yankees and the Red Sox from essentially buying league championships.
Yeah.
Right. So it gives some parity to the leagues. Go ahead, Matt.
Just gonna say, well, all right, how much do these guys make?
Dude, I think the average players makes less than $100,000.
Right.
Major League Soccer doesn't have money like Major League Baseball has or football, something like that. But you know what? I am excited. I want to take my hat off to Major League Soccer because they recognize that we're all in this together, and the owners are not going to make as much money as they wanted this year. The soccer players were actually they had a contract in place that was ready to be signed right before COVID hit. It was never ratified because of that. And if that contract had been signed, they would have been making, I'm just going to make a number here, 3-4 times what they're going to be making now. But, they said, hey, guys, we're going to make the best of a bad situation. And they're not going to make as much as they could have this year, if everything had gone well for them. But it didn't go well for anybody. But I think next year, they're going to they're going to expand their fan base, tenfold what it was. And I'm just going to start with my Vazula thing right here, man. I'm already on board. Vuvuzela. Look, I'm already getting it wrong, but I'm in.
Well, the thing is, why has it not become popular at all yet in the United States?
We had other sports that are better, but now we don't have anything. So this is what we got.
But there will be.
Here's the thing that the players did that was smart, Cliff, going to your point, is that part of that CBA is they staked future earnings on bonuses tied to revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So they're actually going to the players are going to get a pool of revenue sharing, and that percentage of revenue sharing grows over each of the next 5 years. What they gave up in return was essentially almost 25% of a normal year's salary, which 25% of the league makes $100,000 or less.
Great. But I hear none of them are happy about it.
Part of it is they don't have huge salaries, right? They're not making $13 million a year like Blake Snell.
Not yet. But as their popularity, don't get me started on Blake Snell.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Hey, one other cool thing worth noting about the MLS too is they have a 75% share in something called the Soccer United Marketing. Abbreviation is just SUM. So essentially what SUM does is they go to, like, say, national teams, like the national team for Mexico. They offered them $2 million a match to travel around the U.S. playing other MLS teams and essentially friendlies or exhibitions. Well, if MLS makes $20 million off of that match, they only had to give $2 million to the Mexican national team. And so a large part of the revenues that go into MLS, which remember is investor owned, goes, and it's the largest part of their revenue, almost $800 million a year.
So, but to your point, Cliff, you're saying that with the footprint and the blueprint that soccer has put out there, that's going to give the encouragement and kind of a pathway for MLB and NBA and NHL, who have kind of already started. NHL is pretty much set on their plan. I think NBA is pretty much set on their plan. Yep. MLB is the only one that's been kind of arguing back and forth between the players and the owners. Of course, they never started.
Rejected the latest one, right?
Yeah, the owners did reject the latest offer from the players.
Right.
And their last comment was, "We're not going to renegotiate. That's it. Either take it or leave it."
Yeah, they're trying to put the players against each other at this point. They're telling the players to go negotiate with themselves instead of against the ownership at this time. Because I guarantee you, in the players' union, there are a lot of guys that want to take the field.
Yeah. Yeah, there are. There's going to be plenty of guys. There's guys that are already coming to the stadiums for training, not really training camp, but for workouts and working things together and starting that whole process.
And at this point, those are all voluntary, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
I
think Major League Baseball is in jeopardy of not having a season at all this year.
100%.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. With this new, with the players striking down this new offer, that's absolutely 100% a possibility.
Did any of y'all see that one of the proposals was for a 42-game season?
Well, that may be what they're going to wind up. That's all available time. They can't play into November.
42 games. Listen, we made the argument last week that 162 games wasn't necessary. Not that it wasn't enjoyed, but it wasn't necessary to play 162 games. But at 42 game season, listen, if I'm a Major League Baseball team, you might only go 3 or 4 starters in your rotation. They're only going to throw 8 games for the year. Why not only send 3 guys out there playoff style? You send 3 guys out there and maybe a long man in your bullpen.
As long as they can rest.
It's not. I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to rest. They're going to need that day. I mean, minimum 4-man rotation is what's going to happen.
They're going to shorten the season, but the weeks are going to be just as long. So you're going to play a 3-game series against a rival team Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah, but if you're not going to get 25 starts in a season and you're theoretically only going to get 8 because you go every 5 days.
Yeah,
I mean, you could wear somebody's arm out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't got to worry. You don't have to worry about pitch count. And so now it proposed, if they go to a 42-game season, it's an advantage for those teams more than it ever was. It's always an advantage to have good pitching. Mm-hmm. But in a short season, it's definitely an advantage to have good pitching.
Well, I will say that if I were a starting pitcher, I wouldn't let them wear my arm out. I mean, there's the difference between, and I know I hate to say it, almost sound like I'm taking Blake Snell's argument here, but let's just say there's a difference between there's a real injury chance, a significant injury chance. It could be career ending. You're pitching 110, 120. I mean, you're talking about 20 and 30% more pitches in a single game, and then coming back and doing it on fewer days rest than what you did before. That's really not fair for these guys, I don't think. So I just can't imagine wearing a guy's arm out. There are new rules this year about you can't pitch, one pitcher to one guy and bring another guy in.
Right.
So we're going to be limited on the pitchers that are coming in and out of games.
What's Joe Madden going to do?
Oh my gosh.
What's Joe
Madden got a new team. He's on a new team this year, right? The Angels.
Oh, that's right.
So, hey, just want to welcome Javier to the show. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, go really quick. Going back to
the original guest.
We were originally talking about Major League Soccer, right? Yeah. And Cliff is all excited because Major League Soccer is going to be the first sport to return and all that.
He can't
and that's
wait.
All good. But we're talking about Major League Baseball here, and the problems that the players and the owners are having getting together. And in soccer, they made an agreement and they're playing. But there too, the players aren't really happy about it. They didn't like what happened. But my question then is, when you look at what's happening with baseball right now, and you look at the soccer players are doing it begrudgingly and all that, and then you look at what's going on in the world with as far as people without jobs and everything else. When baseball had a strike years ago, certain segments said, I'll never watch baseball again. When football does it, it's the same thing. Do you think the appetite for forgiveness is less here? And if baseball doesn't play this year because these two guys, these two sides can't get together, is it irreparable damage?
No, I don't think so. I think, like you said, there's going to be a lot of understanding. But then there will be a time period people are just mad, and there's, people get mad at all kinds of things these days. But they'll, time heals all wounds, and something else will happen. Something will spark the interest and captivate the nation, not to the extent of the McGuire-Sosa race, but something similar to where hey, I've got to tune in and watch SportsCenter and find out what that was last night, or I need to go to the game to see this guy live because he's so amazing. Whatever the reason is, something's going to happen to draw the fans back. It's a natural cycle. So, but I do like the fact that soccer and the NBA have put out this tournament style format, and hopefully it's going to succeed, so that hockey can follow the same kind of thing. It
and baseball, not baseball. Soccer's playing down at Disney Wide World of Sports too, right? So I think the NBA and Disney are both going to be down there.
I believe they're both there. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, everyone loves the tournament. March Madness is huge, across the nation. The Olympics, the tournaments in the Olympics. Even, people watch tournaments that don't watch the sport. They will watch Wimbledon, for tennis. They will watch even the World Series baseball becomes more popular, during the World Series. So it is absolutely a great idea what these guys have come up with.
Well, something to do with like that sudden death kind of.
Cliff and the sound effects.
Someone's got to be yelling, "Go!
Go!
Oh my gosh, I couldn't find one. All right, I'm gonna turn off my vuvuzela thing here.
Vuvuzela.
But
Matt, what were you saying?
I was just saying, people love that, sudden death not mentality, but that sudden death, game going on where it has real meaning. And that's what we were talking about last time with 162 games in baseball. You can be in, you start in April or whatever, you can be in June and the games still really don't matter, right? No one game matters. But in the NFL, we said last week by game 3, that could be a playoff contention game right there by the third game of the season. So maybe with this, it would make soccer more palatable to some folks. I don't know. Definitely for baseball, it would if they were to do that. I think the soccer is going to get the MLS is going to get palatable, to Cliff's point, just because they're going to be first and they're going to already be playing games. Yeah, and people are going to be looking for something again. It's in a tournament, type format. For soccer fans, know that every 4 years you have the FIFA World Cup, which is a tournament style, and even Americans who aren't big on soccer turn in to watch the World Cup. If they market it right and they're the only thing going, I think that they're going to pick up on some viewership. I think baseball, where they're going to run into a problem is if they're the only ones who don't play, and largely this is going to come down to money. And I think that is something that people are going to have a hard time with. Let's not forget that there were over 45 million Americans unemployed. Those 45 million are struggling to pay their mortgages, to make their rent, whatever it is. And these guys are talking about not playing a sport because it's going to cost them a few $1 million of millions that they already have. Yeah, I think people are going to have a hard time with that. Man, that's what I was talking about before. And, who's going to let it go? Who's going to, welcome them back with open arms? But, hey, did you guys hear about, see what happened with an old Tampa Bay Ray, Carl Crawford there?
No, what happened to Carl?
No. He got arrested this week, I think, for assault and, go Google your Google thing or something.
I'm on it. I'm on the Google machine.
He has a record company or something, I think, doesn't he? A record label that he does now and all that.
Yeah, he owns a record label. Yep.
And I know there was he was getting sued by one of his former singers or something not long ago. And now I just heard that, I think I saw that he got arrested this past week for assault on his girlfriend or something. I don't know. But I guess, he didn't make enough in baseball. Although, what was that contract he signed with he made a ton.
He signed an insane contract with the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Red Sox
he wouldn't, not only did he not live up to that contract, the way he played wouldn't have lived up to the crappy contract he had here in Tampa. He was a different player when he went under the big lights of Boston. But, talk about him getting into a spot of trouble. I think just a few months ago, he had somebody die at his home.
A
woman.
A drowning.
Yeah, he had a drowning of.
I do remember that. And apparently this person in Houston, he was at her home and shoved her to the ground with her child present. So, according to this news story I was reading here.
Yeah, and here it is. He was arrested on assault charges 2 days ago. It was in the news. So
And so, Carl, he was a big fish in a small pond here in Tampa. He was the best player on this team. It didn't. He really could do no wrong. And he went for the big payday in Boston, and he became a small fish in a very big pond, to where they had a number of superstars. I'm not sure if he won a championship with them or not. They weren't playing so well at that point. But the point is, he went and took that big contract, and then they ended up, I believe, releasing him, and he went with the Dodgers.
He was traded. That. He was traded to the Dodgers.
That's right. He was traded along with the tall
guy who played first base.
Yes,
Martinez.
Something like that. Yeah. So another big trade, and just shows he had some value, but he wasn't. He was no longer the star that he was here. That's for sure.
Well, now he's in trouble. It just goes to show you, money doesn't buy you everything.
No, it
the
doesn't.
crazy thing about Carl Crawford, I'm the first one to get in line and say I was a huge Carl Crawford fan when he was here in Tampa Bay.
Oh, he was so fast. He could steal any base he wanted at any time he wanted.
Every singles were actually doubles.
Yes.
Oh, every time.
Yeah. Because he was going to steal second base.
Yeah. Well, not only that, or he was going to stretch out a single into a double.
Yeah. It's funny because I can remember sitting in the outfield at Rays games going, that's a double. And what we were talking about is that he's standing on first base, and he's about to steal second. But, it's funny because I remember talking in circles with you guys about, someday we're going to tell our kids we saw Carl Crawford play left field for the Tampa Bay Rays.
No,
and nobody's ever going to remember that cat.
No.
You don't want to bring it up anyway. Right. No. It's sad. Yeah, well, but like Cliff said at the beginning, we're looking forward to some kind of sports.
Listen, I'm more excited to tell my kids I saw Johnny Gomes play.
Oh.
Johnny the Enforcer, absolutely.
I am going to tell them all about Johnny Gomes. I'll get Andrew now. Andrew!
Right now, you're going to tell. Front and center, kid. I got some news to tell you.
Never mind, buddy. Just playing.
Let me tell you about this time Johnny Gomes cleared the bench. You're like, which time was that? First one out every time. First one off.
Every time. Love it.
Hustler.
Well, speaking of athletes on the outs, did anybody finish the Lance Armstrong 30 for 30?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too. That guy, I made some notes about it after.
So there's more to the story than we originally were talking about.
Well, what struck me was that
fired up, Pooh Bear.
So I finished watching it the other day, and your dad says PGA is coming next week. I was just kind of watching it. I was observing, listening, trying to open my mind, because he had a very different perspective on something I thought was, an area where he did a bunch of wrong, right? So he was trying to basically make good on his issues. And so one of the things that struck me was he contradicted himself toward the end. He was asked if he would change anything given the chance, and he said, no, I wouldn't change a thing. But in the very next sentence, he also said, I wish I was a better husband, better guy, better father, better friend. I'm going, well, that would be changing something. Yeah, why would you say it like that? Right. And he just kind of came across, even according to his friends and people that were associated with him, as just almost a pathological liar. Like, he could not tell the truth worth anything. And then it kept going. His son makes an appearance. He has a college-age son that's playing for the Rice Owls football. And he goes to visit him in one of the episodes, and you could just see there was absolutely no relationship between those two whatsoever.
Dude, he couldn't remember what number his kid wore.
Well, in his defense, the kid was changing numbers during a scrimmage. It was like a scrimmage, like a blue on white game for Rice, and he switched numbers from the old number to a new number. But it was like, really? I mean, I don't know. Do you think that would be something a father and son would talk about, especially if you're going to get, footage of this? And then the thing that got me the most, I was just like, yep, I'm done. No, whatever, everything you just said is wrong. So during the course of the episodes, both of them, there were friends and people that were in his life before that were doing little interviews and saying, yeah, for Lance and I did this, and that. It had their names, and you got to know a few of them. At the end, the credits were rolling. Produced by, directed by the same people. The names. And I was like, nope, I'm done. Your friend's the producer of this, and it's trying to make you look better. Mm-hmm. Sorry, buddy.
No credibility.
Chance. And then it really ticked me off because I started getting ads for this strange sunglass company that he's affiliated with in my feed for YouTube. Raka sunglasses.
It was all a ploy.
I'm like, what? So I watched the Lance Armstrong. Now I got to see ads for his stupid looking sunglasses.
So, one of the things that clearly came out to me in those 2 episodes is, listen, the guy is not contrite even a little bit.
Right.
Not even like, hey, we're all jerks for being mad at him about doping.
Right.
Like it wasn't his fault or something like that. Just overall did not come across as a very cool dude. And you look at man, one of my favorite parts is the interview that he had with Oprah. And
yes,
right? She's asking him, "Did you do this?" Yes. "Did you do this PED?" Yes. "Did you ever try this PED?" Yes. Like, I didn't even know that there were that many PEDs available on the market. And this guy's literally done every single one that there ever was. I was just like, oh my
God. He had people to go look for him.
So John says there's a new one coming up tonight for Bruce Lee, the 30 for 30. Be water, so we can get a karate on.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested in that.
I am too.
That I'm interested in.
I saw the advertisement for that, and I was like, "Oh, all right."
So finally, something Cliff can get into. He wasn't a fan of The Last Dance, not a fan of the Lance Armstrong.
And you would have thought that I was a fan of Lance Armstrong after my outfit today.
Yes,
no doubt.
Yes.
Was that thing even signed? It looked like it might have been signed by Lance.
Just for the record, it probably would have fit him better.
Yeah, it would have fit anybody better.
But one of the crazy things too about that is he would have gotten away with it.
Yes, had he not come back.
Yeah.
He tried to make a comeback, and that ruined him.
Yep. Because at that point, everybody was like pissed off at him, But he retired after winning his 7th, and then he came back, and I think he got 3rd in that Tour de France.
And then he tested.
And again, looking at him, you were looking at him on the what do they call the podium or whatever, and he was a 3rd place finisher, and he showed no respect to either of the guys that were up there as the 1st or 2nd place finishers.
He secretly wanted to get caught.
He got popped after that, and had he never come back, we would have all
never known. So now, who mentioned he was making more money now than he did cycling? What was the stats on that?
So he made $100,000 investment in Uber in its infancy stage. At the time, Uber was valued at $3.2 million, and he made $100,000 investment in it. Today, Uber's valuation is $50 billion. So I would just do some quick.
I'm doing a live show.
Carry the ones. Yeah, he probably is worth more money today than he ever had cycling.
Yeah, well, it brings up another question.
Andrew.
So there's Uber. How is that worth a $50 billion company? You just tell people how to go get a ride. Go pick up somebody.
I don't know. That's what because Google said it was a $50
billion. Well, they're making the marriage. Uber is just an app, and all they do is make a marriage between users and drivers.
Well, how many of the guys on this show have ever taken an Uber or have the Uber app on their phone?
I took an Uber once. That's it.
Well, there you go. You're in.
You just paid land.
I'm surprised it's not worth more.
That just doesn't make it a $50 billion company.
But dude, and the other thing is, I don't know how many
the assets.
No, not
they
really.
Don't have any assets.
Right.
No.
I just don't get it.
The technology,
servers and employees.
Yeah, the technology is the asset. But how many? I should have looked this up before we got on. How many millions of dollars Lance paid out in settled lawsuits after all of that? Because he got sued by everybody, and he was just like
writing checks.
Didn't fight any of them. Was just writing checks.
Yeah, that can't be public knowledge, and they've kept that on the quiet.
Right.
I'm guaranteed that was one of the parameters for taking the money. So we're not going to tell you how much we took. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Overall, not a very cool dude.
Well, between him and Carl Crawford, and I don't know, man. Who are the good guys? Let's talk about somebody who's good. Sports guy.
Johnny Gomes was good.
Johnny
Gomes was great.
Maybe Tim Tebow playing baseball. I don't know.
We did that a couple weeks ago.
Is that experiment over yet? Or?
The which?
Well, we did that a couple weeks ago when he was chastised by a teammate. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes. That was last week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we're looking for somebody good in sports. I'm sure there's plenty.
Well, your dad says that the PGA is coming back next week. I don't imagine they're going to have Peyton and Brady with them.
I can't imagine golf being better than that. I mean,
how awesome would that be?
It was pretty good.
Get them back out there.
That was great golf.
Look, I think most golfers actually play without an audience. I mean, I've seen Tiger play a couple times live, and he has a swarm of thousands of people that follow him around the course. But like JB Holmes, he's walking around. There's like 5 guys following him around. One of them's his wife with a sandwich bag. And,
right.
But I actually feel like golf is going to be worth watching live.
I don't. So
not much of a change, right?
I think there's a challenge with all of these sports that are not going to play in front of a live audience. In that, I think that the arena does get an athlete pumped up.
Yeah.
Right. I think the music, there's people cheering. I think that you get amped up in that scenario. And like I probably said this in one of the weeks past or whatever, but. Like I've been doing a lot of classes or teaching or public speaking via Zoom over the course of the last however long we've been on COVID watch, right? There's something to be said about feeling the room, like the crowd, or feeling like you're not speaking into a camera, but you're actually speaking to an audience because you can see them start to nod their heads that they're getting it, or, maybe you can tell when you have them. Right. Tell a joke and they chuckle at it, or you tell a joke and you're just looking to a camera. You don't know if it hit anybody or not. You know what I mean? So I know that's a completely different analogy than a bunch of athletes in an arena, but I think that there is something to be said for playing in front of a live audience.
Yeah. I don't know if golfers are actually ones that need that.
I mean, you look at a guy like Tiger and the place roars every time he putts.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
But does Tiger need that to perform at his best?
Right.
Absolutely.
You do?
Bet he does. You bet he does. He thrives on that crowd.
I think he likes it, but it's different than like you hear the guys for football saying, it's going to be really weird playing a football game with no fans.
Where are they going to play next week? Anyone know? You
mean PGA?
I do not.
Yeah. Where's the PGA playing next week?
This is solely based on Mr. Ronald Lovell.
I'm gonna look out here on the PGA machine.
Everybody's looking at it. David is on and off as quickly as he got on.
Yeah.
But he is right about big data.
Back to Uber.
Yeah.
Of course, there's something there that's of value. So there's some other.
That's in Amazon has more value in data than they do in everything else.
No. And to his point, he says you don't realize what you're giving up, with the user agreement for like Uber. I'm sure it goes the same thing when you're buying stuff online or whatever else. Data is huge, and the the advertising from it is huge. Just a different world. I don't know. You're just thinking about it. How's that worth $50 billion? Or some kid starts an app, and next thing you know, he's selling it to Google, or how about the guys who started YouTube? And then they sold that to to Google for millions and millions of dollars. And if you Google the very first YouTube video, you can still see it.
It's a zoo. It's a somebody.
Yeah, the kids who started, he was at a zoo or something, right? But and they sold it for huge money. It's just a different world. I don't know.
So this guy here, shout out to Mr. Ron. He says they'll be in Texas next week.
Yeah, I think they're going to be at the Colonial, which is in Fort Worth.
There you go.
PGA. Who's going?
No one can go. I don't think the course is open. You mean who's playing?
No, I was just
not Peyton Manning.
Definitely not Tom Brady.
Not Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was throwing
his pants shopping.
So that was some of the best golf I've seen in a long time.
Tom is definitely out pants shopping.
Let me ask you this.
Or
Tom did not
Giselle's doing it for him.
Tom did not play the best, right? Let's just say he had a little bit of rough.
He had a rough start.
Do you think it really deep down bothered him? Like,
yeah, he's a competitor, man.
Oh yeah, it absolutely bothered him.
Dude, he shit the bed on national television.
Yeah. If it hadn't been for that one shot, where he holds it from however 150 out, or he has nothing to hold on to at that point. That is his one saving grace for that entire telecast.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I just know that's bothering him like crazy.
But it was good TV.
What was worse, him having that bad round, or him losing to Eli Manning twice in the Super Bowl?
David says if he's married to a supermodel, he doesn't wear pants.
Or they don't stay on long. I don't know.
That's why you don't wear pants, David. I get it.
So anyway, that's what I'm wondering. Was it harder for him to lose to Eli twice, or to lose that round and split his pants on national television?
I bet it was harder to lose to Eli.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Oh man, did he lose to were two of those losses to Eli?
Every single time. Both times.
Wow. Of course. Don't you know the David Tyree catch and Oh,
I forgot we have a New York Giant fan among us.
Yes.
Everybody knows those games.
Let's kick him out of the show.
All right, what's our next topic?
Moving on.
Hey, listen, not really a lengthy topic, but man, did anybody see the most recent news about Carol Baskin?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Carol Baskin.
Tiger King has to just be losing his mind.
He is sitting in a jail cell somewhere, pulling his hair out piece by piece,
pulling his mullet out.
Not the mullet. Yeah.
He's pulling the mullet loose.
He's just screaming, "Donald Trump pardon me. Come on already."
So the Jeff Lowe guy, he was quoted as saying he was going to leave the zoo in just a complete wreck before she took ownership.
He made an interesting point. He said, "Congratulations to Carol for spending $2.5 million to win a piece of property worth $1 million."
Yeah, but she saved those kittens. She's going to save those kitty cats.
No, he's got to take the cats out before she takes over.
No, I thought I had read that they were essentially ordered to keep the zoo in as well as condition as it currently was, I guess, including all of the cats and the quarters and the quarters for the staff and all of that stuff.
I think maybe rounds and all that, but I think they had to get rid of the cats. That was one of the things.
She was awarded the zoo, Joe Exotic's zoo, because of the lawsuit that she won against him for copyright infringement, right?
Yeah, but that was like back in 2013 or something when she won it, and he just never paid. So they're finally forcing him to
no money.
Yeah,
so they're finally making good.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's got to hurt.
Dude, I mean, that guy, I hope that Joe Exotic is on suicide watch.
They just shouldn't have.
I mean, he spent a lifetime battling that woman to just have his zoo given to her.
Yep.
Look, Joe Exotic is Sheriff Chronister's biggest fan right now because did you see Chronister? It's been discovered that the will that she presented at the death of her first husband was a forgery.
That's what he said,
yeah, that's what Chronister came out and said. Right. So, who knows where this is going to end? Yeah, we may see 5 or 6 more episodes on Netflix with this thing.
Bracelets. Carol Baskins.
Maybe.
Listen here, all you cool cats.
Is there any line in Vegas on if
I bet
on charges or not?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would think there would be.
Killed that man. She definitely fed him to the lions.
Tigers, bro. Tigers.
Like whatever. Bears.
Tigers and bears. Oh my. Either way, I mean, whoever decided to make that documentary, I don't think they realized the piece of gold they stumbled onto when they started that.
No, I don't think so. And
if it wasn't for COVID, I don't know that thing even takes off.
Right. That's a good point, though. That's what I was about to say. If it wasn't for the time in which we were in, where people were glued to the TVs looking for something new to watch, and it just
I don't know, man. When that jet ski scene hit in episode, was it 5 or 6?
So great,
fantastic. I mean, I can't see Tiger. I can't hear Eye of the Tiger without being out there on my jet ski.
So great.
Listen,
So
next week I'll have to share with you guys a picture that Ginger found of me riding a jet ski. I don't even know how long ago it was.
Oh,
Yes.
But she showed it to me, and I actually thought it was that guy from Tiger King, and it's me.
your hair has never been like that, though.
I think I had a hat on or something.
Where were you? Where were you riding jet skis at?
It was on a lake in Orlando.
I thought it was going to be awesome blue water, like like in the Caribbean somewhere. No.
So Carol Baskins. Okay, so shifting it to, how about anybody up for a little politics?
Yeah,
sure.
Let's get some people fired. Let's get some people fired up.
Get them fired up.
Get some people fired up. So the news this week is Joe Biden is the official Democratic nominee for the president of the United States.
You think Joe knows it yet?
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
wow.
gosh.
So, listen, go ahead. Somebody go.
Do you think the Democratic Party's really happy and excited that he's the nominee?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Okay. In the flip side, do you think that Republicans are happy that Donald Trump is their best choice for president?
No,
probably not.
And
It's a lose-lose either way you look at it.
Right.
Yep.
And you know what? We're making this ourselves because nobody I think we covered this a long time ago, but nobody in their right mind is going to go out there and run for president because their whole life gets ruined in the process, right? You've got to be some egomaniacs. I don't even know what to call you to put up with all that crap to get there. And so the fact that we're left with Joe Biden versus Donald Trump in this election for the president of the United States, the one with the finger on the most powerful button there is.
Well,
Do they still do that? Is there still a button?
Well, football, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Is that still a thing?
It's a golden briefcase.
So listen, these guys, by the way, are old.
Oh, that's my point I was going to make. Go ahead.
One is, I'm going to say it and then you can make your point.
Okay.
One is 73 and one is 77.
Right.
By the way, the 73-year-old is currently the oldest president ever.
Right.
Well, I guess my point, not only is Biden, he said I was next. He said Biden is not only just 77, he turned 78 on November 20th. So before he takes the White House, he'll be 78 years old. Listen, guys, I'm not even 100% sure how old my grandfathers were when they died, but I can tell you that he was not 78 and he could barely drive. I don't know if this is the guy we want running our military. Not just that, but we're not actually voting for Joe Biden, I don't believe, because the average American man only lives to, I wrote it down, 78.6 years is the average age for an American man to live. Okay. Yeah. So the American presidents live to be about 81 years of age. So we're not really voting for a president. We're voting for a vice president. That's who we need to be looking at.
And that's John's point right there.
There he is. Hey, John's he's all over, man. There are
right.
Because I mean, dude, he may not even make it to inauguration. Who knows? Well, he's definitely not going to make it to the inauguration if he has to find it by himself. But
oh my God. Oh my God.
He needs, you know what he does? He needs to take Uber.
He needs to take Uber. There he goes. So the question is, who does he pick as vice president?
Okay.
Well, the choices are already narrowed.
Well, first of all, he's already said, I'm going woman.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's why the choices are already narrowed. And by the way,
because he likes how they smell.
That, by the way, saying that they're already narrowed is not a slight on women. I'm just saying that he took out half the pool when he said that it would be a woman.
Right.
Right. And just to clarify my earlier point, I was laughing about you got Joe Biden who's accused of sexual misconduct or whatever, and then you watch all these videos.
A politician who isn't.
Right, but that's the bigger point. The people who get there, you just got to say, wow. So then you got to hope, I guess, in the background, there's people who aren't in front of the camera as the president or vice president who are really making things happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to hope, because you got, Joe, and if you go and watch the videotapes and the history of Joe Biden, you can make a comedy reel a mile long, right? And then you take Donald Trump and he's like, grab him by this, and and some of his sound bites over the years. Yep. And they are the leaders. You're just like, these are our choices, and I'm not arguing the politics of it. I'm arguing, just the specific people.
Well, John says we're going to end up with President Kamala Harris.
I think he may be right.
Yeah.
She, on paper, she is very qualified. She's been the Attorney General of California. She's been a senator for a long time. And she's only 55 years old. I mean, she is, relatively young, for vice. I'm not sure how old Dan Quayle was, but Dan was also pretty young too. But and she actually wants the job. There's a couple of them out there I know that that have been brought up in conversation. They do not want the job, but she wants it. She wants the big job, and I think
she ran for it.
Yeah, she did run for it. Yeah, she put up a fight to the end.
Do you think there'll be any conversation, and would this person be willing? What about Hillary for VP?
Dude, you are signing your own death ticket if you were to pick her as a vice president. Yeah, I mean, I, Joe Biden, and drop dead. I mean, that's just the way it would go, man. He wouldn't even make it to the limo ride. So
that's funny.
Death certificate signed by the same guy who signed Epstein's.
Yeah, I just figure, the average age of these two guys is 75.
Right.
Yeah.
Does neither one of them truly is a good representation of us?
No.
Right. I don't know.
Well, most people really, because
President Obama was 47 when he took office.
Mm-hmm.
So
how old was John F. Kennedy?
40 something, 43, I believe, 44, something like that.
The trend is obviously older.
My age.
Well, and that's kind of been the constant in American politics, is that you trust the older, seasoned male, right? That's kind of what. No, but what you've seen in the past is that is the person with the most experience, and typically it's true because they have a extensive history in either politics or business life or some other, history where they come about and they're perceived as trustworthy. They're perceived as having wisdom. They're perceived as having a good temperament, and that is why people feel good enough to vote for them. So you're right. In both of these choices, there I don't really see how anybody could feel good about it from both sides. You see a lot of, well, I'm only voting for so and so because the alternative sucks, right? I'm only going to vote for this person because I can't have that person in the White House. That's not the way to do this. It's what we've been given the past 8 years, really.
Well, and I'm not talking about the stance. Like, you have conservatives and you have liberals and then you have progressives and all that. Now, I'm definitely not a progressive, but I'm not talking about that. I was just talking about the personalities of the guys themselves. Now, like Donald Trump, he's a huge personality. It's interesting. Right. I saw an interview from him this week. I watched it from him in like 1982. Okay, he was obviously he was just talking about building in New York, and it was just after New York almost went bankrupt and all that. It was just interesting to watch. But his mannerisms and his voice and like some of the words, like it's huge and it's going to be, all the words he uses, the big words he uses.
Huge and
Gina.
And Gina. It's the biggest in the world. We're the best ever. It's, everything him is such an extreme.
Right.
It was just exactly that way back in 1982. So the thing with Donald Trump is, okay, you like his politics, you don't like his politics, you like some of the words he uses or not. He appears to me to be the same guy he was way back then. Mm-hmm. He's always had that bigger personality. He's probably always had his butt kissed by, his employees and everybody else. So when I was talking about it before, I'm not talking about, liberals or conservatives or Republicans or Democrats. That's a different debate. But I was talking about just the personalities and the people representing those philosophies, the choices we have, So
So hold on, give me 2 seconds here. First of all, let me say hi to Jennifer Vanston, who is a friend of mine from college, and I haven't seen her in a long time. So
there's
hello, Jennifer.
Oh, so first of all, Jennifer, sorry to disappoint you, but this is what he looks like now.
Oh yeah, wait till you see Wednesday's video drop.
The Wednesday video drop. That's a treat. But hey, I think that people are thinking that Kamala Harris is going to be Joe Biden's running mate, but there's a couple of other people out there that I think are making very interesting choices for him. One is going to be the mayor of Atlanta, and she's getting a lot of publicity these days. But what she does is she brings him a state that he's probably not going to win without it. And the other person is Val Demings. She's a representative right here in Florida, and she also, he didn't win. I say he. Trump did not win Florida by many votes. Yeah. So that could be the swing right there that he takes, and he has to be weighing those options.
And that's how they play it. Unfortunately, none of these politicians play it as I'm choosing the best person for the job. Yeah. They choose I'm going to choose the best person to help me win that swing state. Yeah. And that's
that's the thing. Kamala doesn't help him win California. He's going to win California. There's no question about it.
Right. Correct. So, and John, you see what John said on the screen there. Biden's a good choice, or not necessarily a good choice, but Biden is a safe option.
I don't even know if I buy that.
Well, I think it's true as far as he makes people feel better about themselves, right? It can be, I would think, pretty pride swallowing to have to support President Trump. There's clearly some things that he does and says that really make it hard to say I can get behind this guy, right?
Right, but I think most people would be saying I'm getting behind the position, not the person.
Correct, so, and I think that's kind of what John's saying is a lot of conservatives have to swallow the crap sandwich, for lack of a better phrase, right, along with to get the things they want, right? And that's always the big knock. How can you, as a conservative Christian, vote for this guy when he treats women this way? How can you vote for this guy when he does this, that? And I think to what John's point is that he's a safer option in the sense that he makes you can feel better about your choice and not feel ashamed that you voted for him. He's less inflammatory. There you go. So what he's saying is he's less inflammatory.
I don't even know and nothing against John. I just don't know if I buy that. I don't know that he is less inflammatory, and I don't know that he's safer. They both got all their baggage. They both,
absolutely. The guy's been in politics for nearly 100 years. Right. It's ridiculous.
It's just that you don't have someone you feel really.
So Hillary's not a choice here at all.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Hillary's not a choice here at all?
I don't think so.
No, I just told you why. No, nobody in the right mind picks Hillary. Zero.
She's nuclear, man. You don't want to touch her.
That is not if you want to survive.
Well, there's that, but there's also the aspect of, legitimately, they've been rumored to have killed a bunch of people, but then you have your political career will probably be over as well.
Oh, she would take over your presidency. If she was the vice president, she would absolutely run you over, push you to the side, and it would not be about you at all anymore.
Yeah. Right. She's too big of a news suck, a sponge would take up all the spotlight and all that. I don't see that. And there was another woman who withdrew herself from consideration for Biden. I can't remember who it was. It was
Amy Klobuchar. I don't know how you say it. Klobuchar. Yeah.
Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah, she withdrew herself. Okay,
common spelling on that name? Is that right?
Klobuchar.
No. All right, so here you go, Clifford. You're going to have to explain this for us.
No farmer on the show.
So Jennifer has a younger sister who she asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a fireman." And she just looks at me. She goes, "You're a farmer?" And I said, "No, I'm a fireman." A farmer? She just couldn't. However, I was saying it, she did not understand that I was a farmer. She was confident that I was a farmer, and John Deere tractor driving, corn growing farmer.
Why can't you just be a normal? I grew some lemons in my backyard farmer.
I want to drive some tractors.
Well, if I was gonna be a farmer, then I would be driving the tractor, and growing the corn or whatever it is. I wanted lemons. No, thank you.
I've seen you drive Matt's tractor.
I was going to say, we got to throw up a picture of Cliff driving the tractor. But, Lovell, you had the chance. You could have come over. I put an all PB invite out there if you guys come over and drive the tractor around.
I don't think Lovell and heavy equipment would go very well.
Dude, I got this, man. You guys have no faith in me. Just like none of y'all are willing to admit I'm probably a better marksman.
I definitely don't think you're a better marksman.
Well, put your money where your mouth is.
Well, because that's something that takes either you have an insane God-given ability or it takes practice, and I don't think you can practice.
Well, I just went to the range on Friday. Had a little fun with my Ruger.
Thanks for the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I guess this thing's broken. Let me check this.
Brian, I was at work on Friday. I don't. You weren't at work on Friday either.
This was Friday afternoon. I did not. I took the afternoon off, and I was a guest of a friend of mine who took me to his range where he's a member. So I couldn't even bring Paul or Dawn with me. So
this is a private affair. I got it.
It was this time, but I was a marksman. I think I shot pretty good. So Lovell, I take on your challenge.
I mean, how far away from the target are we talking?
Well, it depends on what you're shooting with and what size of a target you're going with.
I've seen an opportunity here for the man event goes to the gun range.
I think that's that's another, yes.
We need to find one that will allow us to film or record there.
There's one not far from me. I'm going to check with them because they have both the pistol range and shotguns. So you can do the clay pigeons. You can do all that.
I'm not. I don't know about a shotgun. I don't know how well I would do with those clay pigeons, but
now
you put a pistol in my hand, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my goodness!
You guys are going to be.
Let's hear from the source.
You've got a much better shot of hitting something with you do with it.
I did drive a 45-foot bus.
Oh my goodness!
Did you have to take any corners, or was it just one straight
probably
shot?
Not.
It was one of the most scary things that happened. We're driving. I think we're somewhere in Kentucky on the interstate, just booming down the interstate. I'm driving, and there's a truck in front of me that has a trailer, and a tire comes off the trailer.
Oh, Gatorback.
And it's just barreling right at the front of this bus. And the only thing there is for me to do is lay on the brakes, and I just stand on them. And Anna comes rolling down the aisle as I slam on the brakes, and the tire just missed us, and we went on. But that was pretty scary. I mean, you figure you're traveling at a high rate of speed. That tire's coming at you. You're going towards it. It was going to do some damage.
So that was pretty challenging, right?
Yes.
To handle that. Now, were you one who said NASCAR is not a sport?
No, that was me.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to tie it all together. And NASCAR did go today, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. NASCAR.
So, but yeah, you need to check out and see if we can go. Because I would love to go and do a range day.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I will check on it because it's not far from here. So
yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I just don't know if they would allow that. A lot of ranges won't allow any kind of photography or that. Yeah, I mean it's already a hazard anyway. Just kind of people being in the way, and then you're not paying attention to what's behind you and this kind of thing.
I mean, Matt, with all of the land you've got out there, we just can't go shoot some guns.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do.
Man, I'm pretty sure there's already been some videography taken from that range. Matter of fact, I know there has. I may have it right here. So I'm not really sure. I don't think they're out there actually policing that, Boober. So
at the clay pigeon place?
That's the one.
If we're doing a short, they're going to know something is going on.
I might need an outfit.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to need an outfit for that.
I'll check next week. I'll check tomorrow. See what I can find.
Yeah, give them an ask and see.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Maybe we could do an off day where it's just kind of us out there. That'd be great.
And we'll all have to place bets ahead to see how good B-Love is with his pistol.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Or I want to see him with the AR. I want to see him with the shotgun.
The AR.
Who's got an AR?
I do.
Oh my God.
What size rounds does an AR-15 take, level?
5.5.
I don't know.
Round one.
15s?
Huh?
15s?
15s.
5.56 or 2.23, brother.
Okay.
Take your choice.
Just
He
put-
does. I don't know about him. I just know how to shoot him.
Right. It's usually it's kind of the other way around. You kind of learn about the thing before you go and shoot it, especially when it's a death machine. You know, you kind of want to have a nice little respect there, a little bit of an understanding. How does this work? What's next? Bang. Whoa, what happened? Where'd the shell go?
And where did the shell go?
Double spin it on his finger right there, and then yeah, look at that. Look at him go.
Oh my gosh.
God, I'm taking that back. You are the man. Wow.
I might even shoot left-handed just so I have a handicap.
You're a regular Val Kilmer, Doc Holliday right there, buddy.
Boom. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Speaking of Val Kilmer, they're coming up with another Top Gun movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out. When's the release date on that?
Oh, listen. So, are any of y'all going to the movie theater anytime soon?
That's a big negative.
I'd go if it was open.
Negative Ghost Rider. The
seats are full. The seats are full.
But there's no. They're not. They're allowed to open, but this, at least the one I go to, is not actually open. They haven't opened yet.
You know where I did try to go on Friday night? I think it was Top Golf. So it's
been pushed. It's been pushed back to Christmas this year.
Wow, Matt, you had a man day. You
Friday?
went to the gun range and shot some guns. You went to Top Golf and played some Top Golf. I mean, wow. Did you also have steaks?
Nice.
No,
did you have steaks and then smoke a cigar?
Back up a little bit. I did go to Top Golf, but the 3.5 hour wait.
Whoa!
Yeah, I tried. So we went out to Bass
capacity.
I went to Bass Pro
Shop.
Shop.
Oh yeah.
And then we went over and got some dinner and a few other things. So we did not get to go to Top Golf.
Hey, when is our upscale cigar bar opening up over there?
That's right. I haven't even checked on that in a while, but
I need to look at some permits or something. There's supposed to be an upscale cigar bar going in on Falkenberg on Falkenberg near the Top Golf and Bass Pro and all that.
Yep.
That is going to become
the big car vending machine.
Yes, the Carvana.
The Carvana.
Carvana, yeah. Does anybody know anybody who's actually bought a car from Carvana?
Not me.
Yeah, my next door neighbors did.
Really?
Yeah. I saw them pull up and they just dropped it off and there they went.
So listen, somebody is watching the show that sent me a picture.
Uh-oh.
Nice. That does look like the guy.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
Dude, you're putting pictures up.
Do you own a pawn shop?
No.
Do you own a tiger cage or
what year was that taken?
It's had to at least be. It's got to at least be 4 or 5 years old.
It looks like it was somewhere around 2000 fatty.
I mean, dude, I'm definitely large.
That's just the vest.
Oh yeah, it's the puffy vest.
Yeah, the puffy vest.
Yeah, just listen. You're gonna see on Wednesday what kind of shape that I'm in. For the man event short on boot camp day.
We didn't see you do any push-ups out there. I don't think.
I was definitely cranking out some push-ups. Although, listen, I will say that I saw Cliff do push-ups unlike I've ever seen Cliff do push-ups before. He did full push-ups, not the standard Cliff push-up, which is normally just a movement of his wrist.
Right.
Like this.
Nailed it.
But today he used full extension on his push-up. I was pretty proud of him.
I just love I never gave the cut sign and he just kept going. And he's like, when should I stop? I'm like, 25 push-ups ago.
Yeah, he's doing them for free.
Oh, that's great. So back to this Carvana thing. What's always intrigued me is that, anytime I've bought a car, one of the first things I do is, aside from driving it and all that kind of stuff, is smell it, especially if it's used. I want to make sure it wasn't smoked in. Somebody didn't have their Labrador Retriever living in there with them, and it just got that smell because I don't want to smell a car. Obviously, if you're buying a trading up from a 2008 Nissan Altima to a 2015 Nissan Altima. They're, whatever. They're all the same, right? So then I could see how someone might do it, but how do you verify things like the smell and I don't know.
They have some sort of like you're allowed to drive the car for 30 days or something like that.
Yeah, well, what a pain in the butt that would be, right? Because then you got to take a day off work and you got to wait for the little scooter truck to come by and pick it up. I don't know. It just seems like a pain if it doesn't work out.
Dude, why do I have this picture of you like with your nose down in the seat crack, smelling this thing right now? Going,
I don't get that close. I'm not going to get that close.
Oh, Pooh Bear, remember how you smell the tobacco leaves?
Yes, I do.
Can you actually
Pretty much
use
just like that
coins and go to the machine and actually watch it come down the vending machine?
I don't know, but if I did buy one from them, I would want to watch it come down the little doodad. And I wonder if it's the one that Tom Cruise climbed up in and fell in Mission Impossible.
Okay, guys, here I got a picture too. Let me get it.
Is this level on a jet ski?
This is not level on a jet ski, but it is Cliff on a tractor.
Cliff on the backhoe.
Like, that's a full. You know what? It's not that easy to get a full load inside your pickup machine there, or whatever you call it. It's
called a bucket.
Yeah, in your bucket. It takes some work to get that thing in there. Man, that's an Australian hat. I like it. Yeah.
I want to ride that thing.
That's looking good. Yeah, so he is a
John
tractor.
Deere. It's a John Deere.
John Deere.
I want to know. Did you operate that heavy machinery?
Jennifer, he really is a John Deere driving farmer.
There you go.
Yeah, she had it right.
His sister had it right all these years.
Yes. Is it? What were you saying now, Lowell?
I just wanted to know if he was operating heavy machinery while doing drugs. Like prescription drugs, because they always put that on the prescription drug bottle.
Yes,
do not operate heavy machinery.
Yes, you're not supposed to. You can
Unless
fall
you're
asleep. You can fall asleep all of a sudden.
I want to say I was not. So.
Yes, animals were harmed in the filming of that, or the taking of that picture. So that was good.
That's good. All right, we got time for one last little story discussion. What are we going to hit it with? Cliff, did you have something about? Father's Day is coming up.
Yes,
right?
Here's a father.
Wear a man event shirt if you're a father. Hey, look at there.
Boom.
What's on your wish list for Father's Day?
Our Father's Day? Do you mean stud day? Bonafide stud day? Just saying.
You don't want to go out and be a stud, do you?
I guess you qualify.
All I want for Father's Day is baseball.
It's not going to happen. You're going to be disappointed.
Maddie asked what my wish was. That's it.
My list is socks. I really want just some good, nice socks, comfortable socks. You can't, socks.
Some good old gold toes.
Yeah, gold toes, or something thick and good, and good socks and a steak. Good socks and a steak.
Listen, I think I just want
a baked potato.
I just want some 223 ammunition.
Oh boy, he doesn't.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's right behind me.
I'm just impressed he got the numbers right. So well done.
There in that door.
Go get around and show it to him. We'll get it and let him throw it. He'll have to throw it. Can't shoot it.
Cigars and bourbon is always a great choice, John.
Happy Father's Day right there, right?
Listen, John and I went to high school together. John is a good time, man. He does trivia. He's into cigars and bourbon and the guns. John would be fun to hang out with. Wow.
Jennifer lives up in Georgia?
No, but she's accusing Clifford of having such a thick, heavy accent that he sounds like a Georgia Bulldog fan.
Well, back in the day.
Oh, I see.
It's back in the day.
That must have been from your.
Wait, what was your accent like? Let me hear it. Y'all.
I can do a y'all. That's just y'all.
Listen, I think while we've been on this show that my sunburn has gotten redder.
I've gotten worse. It's the lights.
It's
making it worse.
It's like
it wasn't even out. That's the crazy thing.
I feel it. I can feel it.
You look red right now, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, except for that one band where the costume was.
Yeah.
It's called a wardrobe in the business, Pooh Bear.
When the wardrobe. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
We
you.
did see that earlier today.
There was a wardrobe change during the filming.
All right, Cliff, you had something you wanted to share about.
This was interesting. I read an article about these are the hobbies that men are picking up. Since they've been locked in. They locked in for a while.
Man.
They're picking up new hobbies, and I was like, I'm always up for something new, but I see if any of these strike a fancy with you guys. Number one is beer brewing. Now, we actually brewed some mead a couple of years ago, and it worked. It just wasn't very good.
Nope.
So,
we put a whole year into that.
Very good.
A full year.
Yeah.
We went Super Bowl Sunday to Super Bowl Sunday, full calendar year.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It
went down.
It was better than I expected, but it was not good.
Yeah, but the thrill was waiting the whole year, knowing it was coming up. That made the whole year.
Dude, it's in my closet. My wife's like, "Hey, when are we going to get rid of this thing?" I was like, "We're just going to wait another 300 days." Okay, number 2, fishing. Anybody want to take up fishing?
Oh no.
Pooh, you just went fishing.
I did in your pond.
It's in the intro, man. Yeah.
It is in the intro.
And you caught a big one that day. So
okay, how about archery?
Ooh, I'd like that.
Archery? Okay.
I would like to do that.
So, my son got into archery for a little while, and we would go to the range, and archery is cool. I think it's summer camp, and it's cool. Like the first time you go, you get out there, get the compound bow and stuff like that, and you learn to shoot it. But after a while, it's just, putting sticks in circles after a while, man. It just didn't really do it for me.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I could see where it would become not as fun, but especially if you don't have a place to go shoot.
So far, I'm pretty disappointed in this list.
well, hold on.
wait before you go on from archery.
Well, you're not if you're not into archery. How about chess? That one's number 4 on the list.
Wow, it's getting worse. This
Let's
is
back
getting
to
better.
archery.
Here we
It's
go.
not getting better.
Number
Hang on,
5,
Matt.
mixology.
Hang on, Matt's got something for archery.
Yes, for those of you who are, and I don't know the proper term. If you're an archer, or maybe it's just archer. I don't know.
Archer.
If you think about it, and you take your bow, right, and you put your arrow out there, and you pull the string. Well, the string goes right directly behind the bow in the front, but the arrow sits to the side. So when you let it go, you think about it, the arrow really should be, it's going like ramping off to the side a little bit because the arrow won't be going straight. So how do they make that arrow go straight, even though it's going around the bow in front of the front part instead of just a string? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
So it's the feathers.
Well, I don't know how it's done. I know there's a notch in the side of each handle of the bow because we have a long bow and a compound bow here.
But it usually sits
long bow here.
So you got the piece in the front, and then you got
it kind of cuts in
on the back.
But the handle kind of cuts in. The handle kind of cuts in above your thumb, so when it actually launches, it's going above your thumb, and it's pretty much center line from what I can tell. Now, I don't know if that's true on every bow. I know the compound bows I've played around with, there was usually a big circular target looking thing. I don't know what that's called, where it goes through there. A bolt eye?
Bullseye.
No. This is on the bow, not on the target. So, but there is a range just down the street on 301 where we could go. They rent you equipment. It's an indoor range, nice and air conditioned. Might be there's something the man event could do.
Either that, or we do them both as part of one bigger man event. One day we do shooting, one day we do archery, and we put it all together in one big short.
We just shoot all kinds of things.
Yeah,
I like it. When we get to the bazookas, let me know.
Bazookas.
All right, I'm gonna run this list out real quick here.
Keep going. What else you got?
All right, number 5, we finally got to mixology, guys. So that one's a good one. And then we've got cooking, which I can kind of go along with baking if you want to go with Mother's Day for the
like cakes
contest. Yes, absolutely. I don't know who in the world is doing self-taught computer programming, but it made the list at number 7. Number 8, I just don't get. Vinyl record collecting. I know it's a thing, but I mean, CDs and digital music is just so much clearer than listening to those.
Well, the vinyl records are making a comeback. With a lot of people are buying upscale, high-end turntables, record players, and they're putting their favorite 45s on or LPs on there because they do have a different sound. There's a different texture to the sound of an album.
I grew up playing records, and a CD is way better. I mean, I never wanted to go back to playing a record after that.
I enjoy hearing. Yeah, I enjoy hearing the sounds that are produced by a needle and groove. There's something different there. I do like it.
Okay.
It's not convenient one bit.
My dad used to have a great album collection. I wonder if he's still got it. I may go get it, and then we'll do that here. You can hook a record player up to your Sonos system if any of you guys have Sonos.
Yes, you can.
Yes, so you could do that and play it everywhere.
I got 40 seconds left. Guys, number 9 came in at book collecting. Didn't say actually you had to read them. It just said you had to collect them. Number 10, I actually thought this was kind of interesting. The painting. I started thinking of Bob Ross and, painting, the little stream and the tree, happy trees. And then honorable mention, I don't know what number it came in at, but I thought it was interesting, like martial arts and boxing. That's something that I find it kind of interesting. Something
that with the new Bruce Lee.
Yeah, boxing is quite the workout, man.
Yes.
They got those boxing clubs around for like a gym that you go work out and you can get a boxing trainer and stuff. So I could see that.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I've seen Cliff slap a what do you call that? A heavy bag.
Dude, I slap it. That was slap with meaning. So it was.
All right, I'm about to wrap us up. We're at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. Does anybody have any final words before I go into our closing?
No, we're good for tonight. It was a pleasure.
All right, we thank you for watching. Thank you for the participation, John and Jennifer and Ronald. Thank you to Pat, the paramedic, for coming on and giving us the rundown on our near-death experiences today during the boot camp video recording. If you like what we do here, we do this every Sunday at 7. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. This is a simulcast. It's broadcast at both platforms. And then we do monthly, bi-weekly random videos that are
occasionally
not necessarily this podcast style. So again, have a great night. Thank you to all our special guests. Thank you for those that chimed in and commented. You guys go out and do something awesome. Take care.
And ring that bell.